Good morning, everyone. James Bird here with Golden Eagle Prospecting. We're out here on another adventure today digging for gold on the Kern River. We got a new little spot I'm going to try out, some rocks and bedrock right next to my campsite. I'm excited to see what we get. I'll do the digging, you dig the likes and subscribes. Let's get to digging. So here's the spot that I'm trying right here. It's just kind of straight upstream, no curve to the river or anything. And then coming downstream, no curve. Never really gave this area much thought. There is a nice looking rock right here that has, a little bit of a crevice inside there I might try to get to. But I did a little poking around here, and as you can see, it's right here is about the spot where I was poking around. I've got some dirt, found a little bit of gold. It's going up the hill, and it almost looks like it might have a little water that runs down sometimes. But there's other little spots of all this bedrock right here. As you can see, I'll kind of pan around a little bit. Looks like somebody else was digging here before with a little bar sitting there. But poked around right here, found a little bit of gold. And the main spot was down in here. All this where my shovel is. It's a nice little area, a little pocket where this bedrock has crevices kind of coming through right here and through over here. And it's just a little crevice, and it kind of winds up in this little hole. Found really good gold there. And I am going to keep digging to see what is in there. But first, I would like to take some more test pans. And I'm thinking this bedrock, so it's right here is the bedrock, the crevice. Okay, this other crevice comes from right here. And it looks like the bedrock might split off and make another hole just like this one did. You can see this little bedrock right here, and then the bedrock over here, a little bit of a crevice, which wound up in a little hole, which I have a boulder, a little rock in there right now. But then there's another big piece of bedrock just sitting right here. Just a big edge, and the river's coming down from upstream, coming down, say, this way. So we'll try to see what we can get out of that. And I want to poke around right here next. And after that, we're going to walk on over here a little bit. And I want to see what kind of spots that we might have over here. So I don't know if this is just a tunnel from water or a critter or what it might be. You can see it goes down in here quite a ways. Let me try to get this in here so we can see it better. It goes all the way in and out the other side. Let me show you the other side. So there's that hole, it's right here. And then we got the other hole that it connects to right there into the water. I don't know if somebody was down here digging. If they were, they must have found something, because they're digging in a lot of big roots. Kind of a crazy little root system. And I'm going to try to investigate. Looks like some of these roots were cut. So, if that's the case, they must have really been digging hard in here. And to dig that much and all these roots, it's complicated. They might have found some good gold. First pan I'm going to do here, I'm not going to classify it, only because I want to see what kind of rocks I have in here, on what layers I have these rocks. I know I can do it in my classifier, but panning it out, it falls naturally where it's going to be, which really, in my opinion, helps me see it easier. Maybe I'm being lazy, but I'd rather see it in the pan than the classifier. But you can see there's some nice heavy rocks, it looks like it's going to be good ground. Small rocks, big rocks, metal. I found a couple fishing weights in the last bit. And under here you can see, looks like decomposing bedrock, which is like granite usually here. So we got some decomposing bedrock. Means you can really get under it and scrape everything off the bottom. So first shovel full, not very deep right here. So I'm guessing most of it fell down into here, down this way. But I'm going to check up a little higher. if I can find a deep spot or another pocket like I did on this other area, we're going to be on some gold here, guys. So wish me luck here. So I would like to be able to find a reason to build a high banker and come over here, right where my camp is, and high bank somewhere. I haven't really used a high banker before, but I'm ready to build one and try it out. Yeah, this is pretty shallow, unless it's a boulder. Yep, no, that's part of the bedrock. So, well, either way, we'll know if a spot like this exists somewhere else. I can hit it and hope for some big gold, chunky gold. Let's get this panned out down at the river, see what we get, and hopefully keep digging this spot. I do want to try to find a better spot. This spot, it has really good gold. We'll see what we can find. Yeah, I've come to this spot. I mean, it's a 1 minute walk from where I set my tent usually when I come camp here, and such a short walk. I don't know why. I figured it was going to be kind of a bad area. Not much gold. I poked around some of the areas over here, not all the way here, but I didn't see anything that was going to say, oh, gold should deposit there. So never really gave it any thought. But after my last adventure out here upstream from my last video, which I'll put a link down in the description, I had found a couple spots that did not look good, and I dug them and they didn't show good gold until I got a little deeper and kind of followed where the seam was. Once I found the seam and the crevice and where it found that little pocket in the bedrock, it was amazing gold. And I moved boulders to get to that spot. Moved some boulders to dig it. Didn't do much digging there. Took a bucket and a half of material to my sluice box. Didn't like the gold. Kind of ran out of spots and thought, you know, maybe this spot's going to look good. And it was nighttime, so it was dark. I don't know if it's the flashlight that does something, but under the flashlight, that spot looked good again. So I said, you know, I ought to try this and see if there's anything good in there. So I did. In the first pan, not much. Second pan, and my sluice box was great. I don't know what this is. Really cool looking. If it's a rock or it's a rust, looks like there's stuff in there. So kept digging in there and found a lot of gold. And it's a spot I had walked over, passed up, already worked, put effort into it, and was just going to kind of give up on it until I needed a better spot. And yeah, no, it was a really good crevice. Found a couple like that. So over here, I said, you know, why not try some spots that I overlooked and see if I'm missing something. Sure enough, I have a lot to learn with this gold prospecting and gold digging and crevicing and identifying where to find the gold, how to follow the trail or the tracer and see where the gold is depositing. And if I can figure out why, I can figure out a lot more about where I want to go next. So some light rocks, some heavy rocks. But yeah, so I hit the spot with that little bit of questioning what I've been doing and why I've skipped holes that had so much gold in them. And with that questioning in my mind to myself, saying, why was there more gold in here than I was even willing to give a chance to see? And I dug the gold, found the gold, had the chance to see what was in there. Once I did, discovered a nice little pocket. So I decided I'm going to poke around in spots that, as long as there's rocks and some gravel, or even if I have to dig, you know, 2 feet deep in some soft sand, maybe there's rocks under that soft sand. I'm not going to go crazy and just try to magically find a spot, but if I can find any indication, any indicators of hard gravel, heavy rocks, anything like this stuff here, you know, pretty good looking stuff there. Heavy, heavy, heavy. If I could find anything like that, I'm just going to dig it, take some test pans, and see what happens, you know. I might be able to get a lot more out of this adventure and out of this little spots here and there than I was expecting. Or at least more than, well, I wasn't expecting anything out of here. We just came down here kind of hanging out, looking for a little spot to fish and a nice little spot to kind of chill that's close to the river with access to the river, because where I'm camping is access, but it's a really steep little embankment, not very easy to get to. And you can get to it, but right here, a little more of a walk, but more walking area on the water, which makes it just amazing. So, you know, just sitting here looking around, talking with my friend and seeing what's going on with the river and the fish, and there's frogs everywhere. And I just seen these spots. She asked me, hey, is there gold in these rocks? And I said, you know, there might be. I took a stick, moved some of the sand, and after moving some of the sand, noticed all these little gravels like I just showed you right now. All these little gravels in between some of these crevices. Not all the crevices have it, but a lot of little spots. There was just a whole bunch of those little river run gravels, little penny gravels, and small but heavy stuff. I was like, yes, I need to dig this. There is all kinds of metal. I think that's metal. I don't know what it is. Looks like some rusty metal. Don't know. Put it back in there for now. But ended up just saying, yeah, I bet you there's gold in here. There's heavy rocks and a gold-bearing river, black sand. Of course, the gold could have got washed off upstream more, or had a deposit downstream, or it's too fast to flow. But with the way that all these little gravels were looking, I thought there's no way at least some gold didn't get deposited here. So I expected to find, you know, maybe 4 or 5 little specks per pan. And that was it. That's all I was planning, like kind of expecting, you know. And got my pan, did my first couple pans out here in this little spot, and I got gravels like this. When I got gravels like this, I would have more fishing weights in there. With some of the fishing weights, I would have some of the swivels, like heavy metals in there. And the gold, it might have only been 5 or 6 specks per pan, maybe a little more. There's a bunch of nano dots, little small fly poop, you know. But the other 5 or 6 specks were actually pretty decent sized specks. Kind of bigger than the gold I'm used to getting, especially multiple pieces. And I'm hoping this pan here, that I'm sweetly taking my time having this long drawn out conversation with you guys, has some pretty decent gold in it, and I can show you what I've been finding. Which the most amazing part for me is it was right here at my campsite the whole time. I'm traveling in a kayak with all my gear upstream, maybe a quarter mile, you know, in a kayak up the stream. It's not a fast flowing river right now, so it's not crazy, but going upstream a ways to try to find good gold, going downstream a ways to try to find good gold, which you have to come back upstream, of course. Hiking areas, and one other spot I have dug up here, we call it Gravity Falls, and then right above there is Rocky Hills, and that little spot I've dug pretty much all the gold out of there I can find. Which I'm going to have to go hit that again too now, which is another 30-second to a minute walk from my campsite. So if I can just stay at my campsite and dig all the gold I want, that would be amazing. Which I will probably save a lot of the gold and the digging that's really close, as long as, you know, we don't get claim jumpers on my private, not my private property, but private property from a family friend, and we don't get people digging all these spots up. I would like to I have a couple friends that want to go, and harder to access certain spots sometimes. So if I can get them to where we're right here and right this close, I mean, they would just love it, you know. And they would be able to dig and walk and hike as far as we need to, because we don't have to hike very far. Pretty safe to get into. So I might want to save some of these gravels for future trips with some of my friends and family. And whenever I get a high banker, you best believe this is where I'm testing my high banker at. Do you guys see that speck of gold? Oh, buddy. Ooh, that looks so yummy. Yeah, that's a good piece of gold, and it's just popping up right now. This might be a good pan. I don't know. Let's see, guys. Give me a second here. I gotta focus. I'm seeing too many yellow pieces. There's weights, swivels. I already see some gold. Oh, this pan's gonna be yummy. That one speck, honestly, is already yummy. It's a big speck. I see another decent little speck. Another one popping out. Oh man, here we go. I think we're on the gold still. And that wasn't even a deep crevice. That was up on the higher end of the crevice. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. So let me get this cleaned up a little better here for you. I'll show you guys what I mean about, of course, there's like little nano dots, but not a whole very big speck count here. There's a little garnet in there. Not a huge speck count, which actually, for a classified pan, you know, I had in my classifier, wasn't even quite a full pan. I could have filled it up more. There's actually a lot of gold in this one little pan. Holy cow. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, now. What's happening here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm on the gold, guys. Sorry, let me rephrase that. We are on the gold, guys. Let's get this dug up, get this cleaned up, and you know, I know it's a lot of time on this video here, but there's one pan. It's about the only one I'm going to show you guys from start to finish, digging to all the way down to the river and getting it out. The rest, I will show you guys the little digging and panning some of it out. And then, of course, the juiciness of these videos, the results of each pan. Once I get those results, I'll put them up here with a small video explaining where I dug, all that good stuff. Maybe get a close-up picture. Maybe eat some of this. Looks so good. Okay, let's see if we can see this, guys. Ready? Let me get some shade on it, huh? Maybe that'll help. Is that helping at all? Alright, well, I'll get you guys a close-up on this. It looks yummy. Alright, guys. So here is these specks of gold that I have. Let's see, right there. All the way up around there. I gotta get a better camera for you guys. There it is. Look at that. One pan. That's a decent little count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600, 700. Yeah, about 8,000 pieces in there. But no, there's actually some pretty decent sized pieces. Yeah, I'm going to get some pans done. I'll get back with you guys with what some of these holes are producing, how much gold I'm getting out of these, and give you guys the money shots. So I got us a couple of buckets filled up here from this hole. We are going to go pan them out. Just 2 buckets. They're not classified. The river's just right here. So I'm going to take the buckets, classify it, pan it, put it in a concentrate pan. Try to speed pan some of this stuff, get through this material. I got about another hour. And then I'm going to go play on the kayak and go play in the river and do some fishing, a little bit of hiking. Take a little break from the gold stuff and see what we get here. This is the gold that I got from it. Kind of hard to see the color for some reason, but it's pretty much all gold in there. There's a couple different pieces of stuff in there, but see if we can get a better look at it. Get you guys a close-up on it. That should help. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good for just 2 buckets of material. Then I classified it at the creek and ran it. That's pretty good, pretty chunky stuff. Let me get a close-up. So there's a couple little rocks in there, but for the most part, it's all gold. Good looking gold at that. Okay, so I ran a bunch of this dirt. Let me get some shade here, guys. So I ran dirt from this hole over here down where I'm standing and that. So what I want to do is I'm going to clean out just in one pan, and I'm going to run this crevice right here. Nice little crevice. And then this crevice I haven't really touched because it looked good. So I'm going to run all the dirt out of that crevice the best I can in one pan and give you guys a peek. That last little bit was pretty good. Still a lot of material in here. I'm going to continue on that later. But I want to hit these crevices and I'm going to go play in the river. So hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so we're going to try to get this crevice out right here. Get all this material we can down into this little pocket and get this panned out and see if this crevice has extra super good treasures, like most crevices with gold do. Nice packed gravels. It's not hard, but it's packed. Seems to be pretty full of a mix of gravels, sand and dirt, leaves, sticks. It might be deeper than I thought. We might get a couple of pans out of this here. Let's hope so. Okay, so I haven't taken a peek yet, but this is from that one crevice. See a dime, split shot, some metal. Should be a good one, guys, so I hope you're ready for this reveal. See if I can get a good washback for you. Tell you guys one thing, you guys that go out there and pan only, I give you props, because this panning thing, it's a lot of work. It's kind of hard. I have a lot of trouble getting in a good, comfortable position to be able to pan for a long period of time. And I feel I pan fast enough and accurate enough. You know, maybe don't lose very much gold, but trying to get into a nice position to be able to pan for a long time, that's a lot of work. So I hand it to you guys that run mainly pans. It's taking a toll on me. I can carry buckets all day long. That's part of my job as a tile setter. I carry buckets, so that part's easy. But trying to do pan after pan after pan, that's a lot of work. But let me get this cleaned up and show you guys what I got. So here's the close-up of the gold. Pretty coarse pieces and quite a bit chunky. But that's from that crevice. The crevice is holding, to me, much better gold and a larger speck count per pan. We'll have to do some more digging here and see what I need to do next, because this is way better. I can't find the right lighting for this, but here's one that's not quite a close-up, you know. There's not a lot of specks. Here's my finger. There's the gold. I mean, pretty decent sized pieces for one little pan. Hopefully the next crevice is even better. So I ran the crevice right here, closer to the river, that one. And it's a pretty long crevice, but it looks like it falls behind this rock right here. And it gets to like a big hollow spot. So maybe a lot of gold's back there if I could ever get to it one day. Didn't show much gold. I'll show you, and I'll put a photo up. A little better look at it because it's kind of hard to see. Only a few specks, but they're nice and round. Kind of chunky, but really tiny. So, but that crevice right there, it was a lot better. So I'm going to try to find some more crevices that are a little bit more isolated and see what we can get. But that's about it for today, guys. I'll get some pictures of the final cleanup and, of course, the gold, the reveals, and the weight, and all the totals. Until next time, keep on digging. So here's the campsite. Got our stove, kitchen box, ice chest backpack, my kayak, which I'm about to air up and go upstream, my truck, my tent with my little Z-pad floor mat. We got our table and chairs, hanging out, some drinks, some nice beverages, a little bench right here, and a nice view of the beautiful Kern River in all its glory. A lot of cows out here, some deer. Seen too many rattlesnakes for my liking, so. But yeah, beautiful river, beautiful day. Get that gold.